Welcome to Birds and Swords, presented by The Barn. I'm Micah, and remotely there's Alyssa. Hey, Alyssa.
Hello.
How's it going today?
Good.
And Laszlo. Can we see Laszlo real quick? Bring him in.
There
Laszlo,
he is.
there he is. He is
Say
the
hello.
bird of Birds and Swords. And he's here to join us to recap yesterday's Nintendo Direct, which was a big one. We heard that the Nintendo Switch 2 was launching, and we finally got all the deets yesterday. So before we jump into all of those details, what did you think, without getting into specifics and price and all that, what did you think of the overall like presentation of the show?
I thought it was great. It was really smooth. It was exciting and like fast paced with a lot of upcoming stuff.
Yeah. And if you like really big suit jackets, like it was for you. Those guys all had, I guess that's the style in Japan. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
they all looked
noticeable.
very professional.
Yeah. So let's dig in and let's talk about it. It is the talk of gaming culture and gaming news right now. It is all over the internet. So if you haven't heard anything yet, we'll briefly cover, some of the core details of the system. Um, First of all, let's go ahead and start with the date, June 5th, which seems like a odd time, but Nintendo always releases their systems at weird times, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Like they have a lot of spring releases, lots of Marches, I feel like, but June's like right in the middle of the summer. So interesting on that. So I think if we're talking about the system and it's like raw features, a lot of people play this thing handheld. So we can start with the screen, the large, vivid screen that allows smooth motion expression. Nintendo Switch 2 has a large 7.9-inch built-in LCD screen, which some people were disappointed wasn't LED, but it's still an upgrade from the old one. That runs at 1080p while maintaining the same thickness of Nintendo Switch. So the actual physical thickness of the system won't be any larger, but they got a smaller bevel and the system itself is a little bigger. Nintendo Switch 2 offers vivid, detailed game experiences as well as smooth graphics showcasing character movements and rich facial expressions. I felt like in the games they showed, without getting into those yet, that it did look really, really good. Everything they
Yeah.
showed looked really clear, crisp, colorful, 60 frames a second. I know it's hard to gauge some of that because that you can't watch a direct on your phone or on your TV and know that that's what it looks like in handheld mode. So I feel like we got to see what it looks like on television, but I thought it looked really, really good.
Yeah, totally agree.
Joy-Con 2s are a big deal. So what do you think of those? I mean, they're basically the same. I wanted to talk about the magnets. Let's talk about the magnets before we get into the aesthetics of the controller. So so you played a lot of handheld. You've ripped your Joy-Cons on and off of that sucker a million times probably, right? So
Yeah.
how do you feel about this new magnet attaching technology?
It looks really simple. I'm hoping it is. I mean, I had no issue with the pulling in and off. I know that there's like speculation that the magnets might break. But I think it just looks smooth. And I mean, it's like pleasing to watch them snap it in and out.
Yeah. Well, they showed like an up close, like there's actually two magnets and it's really easy.
Yeah.
They like went into detail about how it's not going to break and it will
Yeah.
be easy. The old Switch had that little release button. You have to pull it off of like a rail. I know just from working in the industry when those were hot, that a lot of people broke those. A lot of kids broke
Oh,
those. So definitely looks like something they addressed. The Joy-Con 2s can act as a mouse. I feel like this is a gimmicky motion feature that I don't personally need at all. Um,
yeah. I'm
but it
curious to
is,
see how that works day one. I feel like it's going to be a test run.
yeah, I feel like there'll be parts, little tiny parts of games that'll use it, and then there'll be like dedicated software or games or mini games or whatever that's all it's going to use is
Yeah.
these mouse features with the gyroscope. I feel like it's something we didn't need. Hopefully, it's not something that rose the cost on it, I guess. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's something that we need. I know they want to still instill some of that motion gaming type of stuff, but all that like works on tabletop. I don't know. I guess I just have to see it more in action because the little gimmicky demo things that they showed were I was like, who cares? It was like lining
Yeah.
up a star in a sticker correctly.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is for babies. So we'll see how that goes. The new button, it's called the C button, which I guess stands for chat. It really looked like a Discord type of experience to me. Did you get
Mm.
that? I know Zach
Yeah.
uses a lot of Discord, so you can hit this C button and you can chat right through the controller like you've been able to do on PS5 for years now. But it's the same kind of technology. But they also introduced where you could share and bring those up in, you could bring your friends' screens on there, which was
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
Um, it looked like they ran like garbage, like it was running at like 10 frames a second. So we'll see how
Yes.
all that works out. But it did seem like a Discord type of feature. So what do you think about the chat and staying connected? I know that's not something that you do, but I
I
guess
think, I mean, I like it. I think it's great. I like you said, I'm probably not really going to use it, but I was watching it with my friend Kelsey. She was over and she was really excited about it because she plays Mario Party online and stuff, and thought that it would be really cool to be able to see their screens or have the game chat. Because she said, I use Discord, but it'd be so much easier to just log in on the Switch.
yeah, and I feel like
So,
those are two of the games that would be the best for is Mario Kart and Mario Party. And then maybe some
yeah.
third party stuff, Fortnite and stuff, I'm sure. But they dedicated like a decent, like 10-minute chunk of time just on that and keeping players connected. I know the first Switch and just Nintendo in general, the online stuff has never been a huge focus for them. So maybe that's why they dedicated more time to it.
Yeah.
So it's a brand new button, and they are going to have a new Switch Pro controller, which I think I've mentioned on the podcast before. The Switch Pro controller is like my favorite controller. I love how fat the face buttons are. It's really, really well built. So there's a new one of those coming. It looks basically the same, but it's got the C button and I think a microphone jack on it as well. Um, the system has a new stand, which can run up to 4K finally in 2025. We've had 4K for like a
Woo!
decade. We're
We
getting
did it.
4K on the Switch finally, so the new stand will implement that. And I did also see, before I forget, there's actually two USB-C ports. That's so you can hook up a camera. They did show their first party camera, but I also read that you can attach any camera that's USB-C compatible.
Oh,
So you might
wow.
have to buy like Nintendo's actual one if you don't want. I think it's going to retail at $50. But if you've already got a camera that hooks up USB-C, there's a port on the top so you can have your system charging and have your camera hooked in at the same time. So that's cool. Um, 256 gigs of internal memory. That's up from what, like 56 gigs or whatever it had before.
Yeah, they said it was like 8 times the amount or something.
Yeah. It's still not, PS5 and Xbox, well, Xbox Series S, I believe its base model is 500 gigs, but 1 terabyte seems to be like the industry standard right now, and it's only a quarter of that. We'll get into some of the digital stuff here in a minute, but if you're going to be doing digital games only, that's going to run out really quick still.
Yeah.
It does still support micro SD cards, but it uses what's called micro SD express cards. So that's different than what you may already have if you expanded memory on your Switch. So I know that was one of the bummer news. As far as transferring your data over, you probably need a new memory card that'll probably be pricey, but those things do deliver your data faster, and it makes sense to have something faster on a new system at least. So you can expand your memory with the new micro SD express cards. So that's good to see. It's good to see that the system has more memory and you can still expand it. What else? We talked about the controllers. We talked about the stands. Nintendo Switch 2 has significantly improved CPU and GPU performance over Nintendo Switch, resulting in faster processing speed and enabling new visually advanced gameplay. It also makes it possible to achieve more detailed graphics and faster loading times. There is no SSD on board that I've seen or that they announced or anything. So I'm interested to see exactly how fast those load times are, but I don't think it'll be anything too terrible. 3D sound as well. We talked about the storage, and then a big win. Regular Nintendo Switch games are also playable on Nintendo Switch 2. I know that's kind of become an industry standard too. But it's good to see that nothing got left behind. You can still play your old games on the new Switch 2. So, what do you think of the hardware? It looks the same.
Yeah.
It's a little bigger. The Joy-Cons are black now, right? With like colored trim instead of being a colored controller. Probably release some colored controllers, but I felt like it looked the same.
It looks like an upgrade. I mean, I don't know. I didn't expect the Switch 2 to be anything dramatically different. I felt like they really nailed the Switch. They just needed to upgrade things like the screen and processing and storage, some stuff about the controllers. So it feels kind of what I was expecting. So I'm really happy with it. Really excited for it. And I was one of the people that was just pumped that it's backwards compatible because I have so many games in my backlog.
Yeah.
So when I just switch over to the Switch 2, I can still play them.
Yeah. Same. I thought it looked slick. We're probably not the people to talk to about that. Neither you or I super care what our systems look like. Some people really do, though. They have cool game rooms. They really get into all that. So I do think it looks slick. I'm anxious to see what they do with like different color Joy-Cons and stuff. But I feel like it'll fit right into most people's entertainment center. Even the retail box looks like exactly the same as the
Yeah.
regular Switch did. So it looks like almost the same thing off the shelf. Just real quick, Nintendo Switch Online looks like it's about the same. The big announcement was that and you might be excited for, is that they're adding GameCube game library to the Nintendo Switch Online.
Yes.
So
It's
that's exciting.
wild. Like
Yeah, and they showed
everybody's
Wind
been
Waker.
asking for this. Yeah. Wind Waker was a good one to show because that's what everybody wants to play. I feel like that I know. And I'm really excited for it. It was interesting how they shared it. They were just kind of like, fine, here, you've been asking for it. Here's the
Yep.
games. Really exciting. I think GameCube was one of their best systems, had some of the best games. I think a lot of people will utilize that library.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't. So there's two different there's like Nintendo Switch Online, which gives you all the basic stuff, and then there's Nintendo Switch 2 Online Plus expansion, and that's kind of where like the N64 and the Super Nintendo and now the GameCube games and all of those will fall. They did quickly mention accessibility features. I'm going off a media email that I received, well, a couple media emails that I received. Um, it's, yeah, all it says is to support players' wide range of gameplay styles. Nintendo Switch 2 offers a variety of new accessibility options, including the ability to adjust font size, enable screen reader, and speak to text features within game chat. So it's good to see that both Nintendo and the industry is still supporting those kinds of things for people who don't have all the accessibility maybe that others do. Parental controls still there. We're going to skip over that. Nintendo's always been really good at that, so it's nice to see that they're still working on that. I guess before, I was going to talk about price at the end, but let's just do it now, and
Yeah.
we can finish with all the fun stuff with the games. So June 5th, like I said, it's going to retail the core system at $449.99. So that's with no games. That's just the system. And then we're going to get into Mario Kart. There is a bundle with Mario Kart World for $500. So is that expensive for you? Is that too much? I think the
No.
PS5 is retailing at like the standard PS5 is retailing at $399 right now, I believe.
Oh, it is at 390. Is that 399 now?
So it launched
Well,
at 500.
I would say no, because I just think about how long my Switch lasted me and how reliable it was. So I think that the price for what you get for a handheld and a system that plays on your monitor and TV, I think it's pretty decent. It's not the end of the world. I don't think it's like amazing. I'm not like, wow, run to the store now, but I don't hate the price.
Yeah, I think it's a little man, they should I don't know enough about everything that's going on probably, but I feel like 400 was a better target when you can have that nice round number, but I'm sure the manufacturing cost, we don't know all the
Mhm.
details of all that. So I know the backlash, even coming out of the direct was at 8 a.m. our time, Central Time. So it was pretty early in the morning. And there was backlash about the price like immediately.
Oh,
Like, this is
wow.
too expensive. It's almost like people weren't expecting it to be that high. And
Yeah.
then Kotaku published a report last night, and I did send it to you. Without getting too political, Trump issued the major tariffs that went into effect, for multiple countries, mostly focusing on China and Vietnam, which is where these things are made. So those went into effect. That was big, headline national news. Kotaku published an article that the massive new tariffs could make the Switch 2 cost more than $600. And it says a series of Liberation Day tax hikes could upend the Switch 2 launch in the US. So, and I've seen further conversation on that this morning was their set retail price at the 450 already accounting for those tariffs? Like, we don't have solid information on any, no.
Yeah.
So it created this conversation or this narrative that, Kotaku published this last night and could be more than $600. And that was doing the math, right? If it's 15% extra tariffs or 20% or whatever, this is kind of what it'd come out to be. But the conversation began with, is the 450 kind of already anticipating those tariffs coming in? Have you read anything on that, or what's your initial thought on that if you haven't?
I mean, if it does come out here as around $600, I won't be getting it this year. That's for sure. That's my shotgun reaction. Like, holy hell. But I didn't even think that price could be accounting for that. If that is, then that's like much more reasonable. But man, God,
450 with the tariff sounds reasonable, even though we just said that it sounds expensive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
it feels expensive, but when you're anticipating the tariffs, it feels less expensive, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. I mean, we'll just have to see. Coming up, I think we'll get more news. Plus, we'll have to see how long the tariffs last. Like, again, without getting too political, he's introduced tariffs and then he's backed up and reduced them by half in a couple of circumstances. So we'll have to see kind of how it all plays out over time. But it's an interesting conversation because is it going to be 600 or was Nintendo planning ahead by making it 450 with some including some of those tariffs? I think most of them are made in Vietnam, and he's issued a really high tariff against things made in Vietnam. A lot of things are made in Vietnam, especially electronics. So we'll see how that shakes out. The second part of the price factor is the price of the games. They didn't announce, well, first of all, as part of the direct, they didn't announce any prices during the direct at all. There was multiple instances where they said the website will be live and this is over and you can go check and look at all this stuff and it'll be available. And then once people did that, they realized that the system was 450 and they realized that the price of games were as high as $80. I've got the actual from Nintendo's website, and we'll get into some of the games. There's multiple, like the first party stuff that was shown, $69.99. Mario Kart World, $79.99. New Kirby, $79.99. Even the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 version, $79.99. So this is the highest price we've seen on games by $10, I guess, on the $79.99. Because I think the highest, like for standard, that's something that's not like deluxe edition or collector's edition, like a PS5 brand new AAA. Like I think Assassin's Creed was $69.99. So this is $10 higher than that. So it created more backlash on the internet. And again, is this another tariff thing, or is this just what they're going to be? Plus, does this set an industry standard going forward? Like GTA 6 is going to come out this fall. How much is that going to be? 100? Like, so what do you think about the game prices?
God, it's not worth that. None of their games are worth that price. I was shocked when I saw 80, and I knew, the industry has been reporting that games are going to keep getting more expensive, but it's sad to see, like these Nintendo games, a lot of kids start with Nintendo, and this is not going to be accessible to a lot of families now. And I think that's just sad to see that these prices are so high. I don't want to pay $80 for Mario Kart. Like I play it like 3 times a year.
Yeah, I feel like that's one. I mean, if you're going to pay that much, you got to get a lot of miles out of it. And I feel like Mario Kart would be one of them because you probably buy it and have it forever. I feel like Mario Party would be one of those. I think they're re-releasing Jamboree, which I don't even think you've played yet. They're re-releasing Jamboree with like an expansion. I think it's $79.99 as well. You can get a lot of miles out of those. But you're right. I mean, especially for us, we buy games later, or we play indie games that are 15 or $20, or sometimes 10 if you can get them on sale. There's so many good games. I don't spend like $70 on a game very often. MLB The Show, that's worth it. Played a lot, but it really reduces your library when games are costing this much. But the cost of production, I'm sure, has gone up. As games get more detailed, more complicated, the teams get bigger, it takes more people, there's more payout. Um, so it's tough, and it's interesting to see that Nintendo would be the one leading the way on setting the price on like this year's wave of games. You think it'd be like somebody else, but there's been plenty of backlash on the prices of those too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we'll see how it shakes out. So enough of the money. Let's get on the games. We mentioned Mario World, or Mario Kart World. So what were your initial reactions to Mario Kart World?
It looks
Super Mario
like
Kart
another
World?
great.
Yeah.
I think it's just Mario Kart World. Is it Super? I don't know.
No,
Just
no,
Mario Kart World.
it's just Mario Kart World. Yeah.
Okay. It looks fun, and it looks like they have a ton of tracks. And they've added like a bunch of different things to the game to just make it feel fresh and new. You saw them like up on the rails and stuff, and then you drive in between the tracks. Maybe some new items, and then just tons of characters. It looks really smooth, and I think with the new chat feature, it could be really fun.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is it's kind of like and I know you don't play racing games, but for the people who do, it's kind of like the Forza Horizon series, which is an open world racing game. So the big marketing piece of this for Mario Kart World is it's an open world racer. So there's a battle mode in there or like the cup, right? You're used to doing like the circuit cups or whatever. So now you do those, and you'll have like 4 races or whatever. So you race and then you drive to the next race, like through the open world, which is really, really cool. And there's even a mode that kind of furthers that if you start with 20 racers or whatever, the top 15 move on to the next one, and then the top 10, and then the top 5 will be in the last one. So I think that's a really cool take. So they're really focused on that open world, and I think that's really cool. That's what Forza Horizon does. So it gives you some like time in between. I know that's still like a kind of a community focused feature, because I don't think you're like picking up power ups for the next race. I think you can like go to this vista and then snap a picture with your friends on your carts or whatever, like on the way. That's kind of the type of thing they showed up. But I think it looks super cool as well. It runs really good. You mentioned the rail thing. I was going to mention that. It almost felt like skateboarding or something.
Yeah.
Grinding on a rail, like around you can get.
You're like jumping off the walls and stuff.
Yeah. And you can have, I don't know what all races are included, but it supports up to 24 racers in a single race. That's doubled up from 12. So that sounds
chaotic.
Chaos. Like how many turtle shells are going to be flying around with 24 people? Or if you have the bullet thing, like you're just going to take out like 15 people. So that sounds really, really fun and really chaotic. I think they're going to do a good job of like splitting up those modes, and it'll have a lot of content to find what you're looking for. But the new stuff that they're marketing for it all looks really, really cool to me. I really love the open world feature and being able to drive to the next race, kind of as it loads it, so to speak. You looked up the characters. I do want to mention the internet's already going crazy for the Moo Cow. So there's a Moo Cow from Moo Moo Meadows. If you've played previous Mario Karts, Moo Moo Meadows is like on I think it was originated on maybe 64, maybe even Super Nintendo. It always gets remade. It's like in every Mario Kart. So now you can actually be the cow that stands in the middle of the fucking road, in the race that you usually wreck into. Now the Moo Cow is a racer that you can choose and use. Did you have you have like some new characters maybe, or trying to decipher some new characters?
Yeah, I mean, other than just new characters, it looks like a lot of the characters are going to have different skins that they'll be able to wear, different outfits for their ride. But let's see, Pauline Lakitu. I'm sorry if I pronounce these wrong.
Yeah, he's the one that floats around in the cloud with like the.
Oh yes, Wiggler, Hammer Bro, Nabbit, Goomba. Uh, Tons of returning characters like King Boo, Shy Guy, Rosalina. You can have Toad, Toadette, Yoshi, Koopa Troopa. I mean, the list is pretty huge. There's just so much. Um,
Yeah,
Waluigi's back.
and you mentioned new outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
I love a good customization set. So, and I think Mario Kart 8 had a good one where you pick like your type of car and then your type of wheels and then your type of glider. So I know we'll see all kinds of new stuff there, and that'll be really fun. Um, but overall, I think out of everything they showed, I think showing it first made sense. And that is a launch title. Like I said, there is a bundle where it's included. It is $80, but if you buy it with the bundle, you get it for 50 because the SKU is $500. So you're basically getting the game for 50 instead of 80. I'm sure people will be all over those. We'll see if it gets scalped. Like, I don't even know if it's going to get scalped. I feel like tariffs are already an involuntary scalping.
Government scalping.
So they're already raised. So it looks super cool. Plenty to be excited about. Can't wait to get our hands on that. So maybe we will, and maybe we'll stream some. Hopefully we get to play it sooner than later if we can get our hands on a Switch. I do want to talk about the remakes of Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition. So they are remaking both of them. Both of those games, first of all, are fantastic, but second of all, had some performance issues, and we always kept saying, I wish this was on like a better system. And now it is. So I feel like those experiences are going to be really cool. It looked great. A big thing that I saw that I wanted to text you about last night and I didn't. That new Zelda companion app looks so
that is
fucking
so
cool.
awesome.
It has like a GPS.
I know. I was like, not the GPS.
You can like put your phone up and it has like voice navigation on it and stuff.
Oh,
And
it looks
like your car's
amazing.
GPS.
That's what I need because I use my phone notes for everything and I'm always on like my computer for it and all this different stuff. I always have like 6 different screens while I'm playing like Breath of the Wild. I mean, this is going to really consolidate and help, and I think it'll have a lot of really nice features.
I wish I would have got to play it like that the first time because it's like I'm gonna go after this Korok seed that I know is over here, and it'll be like turn left,
Yes.
go north.
That'd be cool if they'd have like different voices that you could do like different character voices,
And,
like
and maybe
like Beetle.
Yeah. Dude, yes.
Oh,
It was
turn left.
it was honestly like one of the coolest parts of the whole show for me. I was like, that is cool. And there's some really cool companion apps for games and stuff. But to have like, plus it's got all you can track your collectibles and you can even share in Tears of the Kingdom, you can build, obviously. And that has a lot of depth to it. And you can even like build stuff and then import that into your app and share it with your friends so they can like build the same thing using the same materials or whatever. So it's got got a lot of other cool features, but that GPS was like knocking me out. I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming at launch of those. I don't think, those will both be available on June 5th as well. So that's part of the launch lineup as well. So that's cool.
I'm excited for that. I have Tears of the Kingdom, but I haven't played it yet. And I'm excited that they're offering an upgrade to the Switch 2 version. I mean, you have to pay for it, but if you have it, you can upgrade it.
How much is the upgrade, do you know?
They didn't say, unless it's on the website, but they didn't say any
$80.
prices. Yeah, I don't think it'll be 80, hopefully, geez. But I'm excited for that because I've been waiting to play this game until I get the Switch 2 for like a while now because I've just had so many friends play it that have had some buggy issues. So I was like, my Switch will never be able to handle it. It's like a J1 Switch.
Yeah. Yeah. And that game is, especially when you start building stuff, there's so much stuff going on the screen at once. It just can't.
It's gonna kill my frame rate.
Everything sometimes. Plus, that game, Tears of the Kingdom, has like a sky level, the ground level, and then the underworld level. So it's really like 3 open worlds stacked on top of each other that you can go in between, and it can get messy. But we're both huge Zelda fans, so we're definitely looking forward to that. Let's stick with Zelda. What was we got a brand new Zelda announcement, actually.
Hyrule Warriors, my favorite series. No, I do love Hyrule Warriors. That's why I play it. I hate myself because I have to 100% complete all of them. But new Hyrule Warriors announced Age of Imprisonment. And as it's canon to the Breath of the Wild series, it takes place before Tears of the Kingdom as a prequel. And it's about I didn't play Tears of the Kingdom, the War of Imprisoning and something. the imprisoning war. So it's essentially that period, right leading up to Tears of the Kingdom, I'm assuming. That's how the last one was. Age of Calamity was the same way. It was like the time that Link was passed out in the
Yeah, I
cave.
didn't know until last night that those were canon. Didn't know. I don't know. I'm like I told you, I'm a shitty little Zelda fan. If I didn't know those were canon. Because I was like,
Well,
man, the new one's canon. Did you know that? And you're like, yeah, the last it was like that.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that the other one is canon too. Everything about it seems canon, like it just is totally part of the story. And I think I read somewhere that it was, but the first one, Age of Calamity, like I said, really flew under the radar for a lot of gamers. They didn't do a lot of announcements for it. I don't remember it being like a big thing. I kind of just remember seeing it in the store and being like, "Oh, there's another one." Should
Yeah.
probably finish the first one. Now I feel that way about the new one. Got to finish the second one.
Well, it looks so the new one that they announced looks really dark and it looks really really cool. Like I was getting pumped up watching it and I don't even play I played the first Hyrule Warriors I think for a while. I don't think I finished it. But that one I was like, man, that looks really 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 cool.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. And then running on that new system, it's going to be so smooth because it's really like it's such a combo based game. So it's going to just look so nice and run so
Yeah.
smooth.
So how do the other ones run? I mean, talk about a lot of things going on screen at once. It's like you're fighting 300 enemies at a time. So
Yeah, so it'll cause some major like lagging frame rate issues sometimes when you have so many enemies on the screen. I ran into it more with the first game on the Wii U than I did with the second game on the Switch. But I feel like the Switch one, the game doesn't feel as big. I don't feel like I'm fighting as many enemies as I was in the first one, if that makes sense. I mean, it's still the second one looks good. It runs good. I just think this one's gonna look great and run great.
yeah,
If that, it's just a
yeah.
big upgrade for us.
It was one of the ones I was more excited about when I was watching the direct for sure. I don't think that one has a date yet. Just 2025, or did I miss it?
I don't think there's a date.
Okay. Moving on, Metroid Prime 4, which has been announced for a while. It will release on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, with the latter allowing both standard controls and Joy-Con 2 mouse controls as players wield Samus's arm cannon. So again, kind of that gimmicky motion stuff that someone's gonna use, I guess. So that'll be coming. I know a lot of people are hyped for that. Enhanced visuals and performance on the Switch 2. You can run quality mode and performance mode, which is something we see on the modern systems quite a bit. Supports HDR. So you can do all that on the new Metroid. They didn't show much of it, but what they did show was, absolutely gorgeous in that game. A lot of people have been waiting a long, long time for that. So I can't wait I'm glad that we got to see something that we hadn't saw yet. And get it confirmed for release this year. Didn't get a date, just says 2025, but we know we're getting it for sure, so that's good. And you kind of missed Metroid. Not that it hasn't been out in your lifetime, but
Yeah, I never picked it up, but I have friends who really love it, so I know objectively it's a great series.
yeah. That'll be a big time seller. I'm guessing that'll probably be around the holiday. We also have Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is re-released Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Star Cross Worlds. That's like a dual pack for the people who like Kirby. Kirby's still very popular. I'm not super into like the newer stuff because everything is like all the Kirby games are really easy. I guess some of the old ones were too, but huge fan base, so that's good. Pokemon Legends Z through A. Is that how you say that? You're the Pokemon person, kind of.
I just thought it was ZA, but maybe
ZA. Pokemon Legends ZA, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. You can enjoy your adventures in Lumiois City on Nintendo Switch 2 with enhanced resolution and frame rates. We knew this one was coming. That'll definitely be like it just says 2025. Well, actually, it says late 2025. That's Pokemon's always a Black Friday thing, so that'll be in November sometime, I'm sure. They're remaking Kirby Air Raiders, which was an old school classic racing game. It's interesting that they decided to show this in the same direct as Mario Kart because it's kind of in the same ballpark, obviously being a racer, but it did look cool and a lot of people like that game. There was that Drag X Drive that was more of showing the mouse stuff and the motion stuff. It was like a basketball thing that kind of looked like Rocket
Oh yeah.
Arena type of thing. Looked like a gimmicky thing, but who knows? It might have a big online following.
I feel like it'll have like a really niche, intense group that plays that
Yeah,
game. Like
probably.
it's gonna be like a cult following kind of game.
Yeah, or it'll start showing up in like competitions out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a tournament for Drag X. Not starring a RuPaul. That would be a different game. There should be drag show. Well, I think we've talked about before, not to get too far off topic, but we've talked about before there should be like reality based games. They're like
Oh
reality
yeah.
shows, but you choose dialogue and try to win the show or whatever. Like,
That would be so cool. I
why
think that
doesn't
would
that
go really
exist
hard.
more?
Is there a Survivor game yet?
Mm, there might have been some kind of
I know
gimmick
there's a
or
board
something.
game, but
Yeah.
they could go really hard with that.
Yeah, like whoever makes or, well, Telltale doesn't exist anymore. Whoever makes like who are the games you like? Those murder games or those Survivor
Oh, wait,
Dark
Survivor.
Horse,
The Dark
whatever.
Anthology.
Yeah,
Dark Horse.
like people, like people that can really write circumstantial video
Yeah,
game narratives. I feel like there could be something
they
there.
would really rock that. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as the third party stuff, Split Fiction's coming. We still have yet to play that, but that's good that that's coming to Switch. It seems like a perfect home for it. Hades 2, which we still haven't played yet either. I haven't. Have you
I
played
have
Hades 2?
Hades 2, no.
Okay.
I thought that's coming. Is that out?
Yeah, it's out. Well,
Oh.
I know you can at least play it on Steam. It's out on Steam.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know it was out. So,
New Borderlands 4. The big announcement as far as the third party stuff goes was the Duskbloods, which is a brand new title from the from Software, who makes Dark Souls and Elden Ring, and it looks really cool. And it's a Switch 2 exclusive, which is wild because
that's crazy.
they're leaving so many players behind, probably. 'Cause they
Yeah.
have, like one of the most hardcore cult fan bases like ever. Like, what does Zach think about that? You know what I mean? Like,
I want to know how that deal went down in the business room. Like, I want to know how they made that deal. That's crazy.
yeah, exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. The Duskbloods launches next year, it says. So I guess that's 2026, or we're ways out, but they wanted to get it announced as part of the Direct. Really wasn't a lot of information on it. It said, read more in our upcoming developer diaries coming on April 4th, which is this weekend. So I guess we'll see. But that one was kind of like a shocker because everybody wants that on all their systems. Anything new from Software. So a little ways out, but we'll still get that. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition coming to Switch. First time we've had Cyberpunk on Switch. After that game's really, really rocky release, it's really, really good now from what I hear. I kind of want to replay it actually. So that'll be really good on the Switch. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. So you can play your mini games on the Switch.
Woo.
So many games. Street Fighter 6, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Hogwarts Legacy, Bravely Default, Borderlands 4, which I think I mentioned. The new Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake coming. They are releasing Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. So if you haven't played that somehow and you have a Switch, you can do that now. Yakuza, which is very popular. Fortnite's going to have some new stuff. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition is interesting that it's hitting the Switch. Very mature rated game. And Project 007, step into the shoes of James Bond and earn your 00 status, featuring wholly original Bond story. So it's not like remake of GoldenEye, but maybe it'll resurface some of those old feelings. And then the big game at the end, Donkey Kong Bonanza. I wish, well, I'll put it up on the screen. So it's Bonanza spelled like banana. This is the one that was dropped out of nowhere. No one had any idea this thing was coming. So it's a new Donkey Kong game. The last several have been like the side scrolly ones, and they've all been really, really good. The really, really challenging platformer games. Really, really like them. Kind of akin to Donkey Kong Country. But this one is like Donkey Kong 64. And like you mentioned, you can just tear the shit out of everything.
Oh,
It looks so
everything,
cool.
the ground you can destroy. It looks so cool. I mean, I don't think I've ever played through a single Donkey Kong game, but this might be the one. It just looks so chaotic.
Yeah. The world looks gorgeous. First of all, it looks like the game runs really, really smooth. But I'm sure it's not one big open world, but the areas looked really, really big. So it looks like there's a lot of exploration, which we like, collectibles to find, which we like. It just seems like what I call it, fuck it type of fun.
Yeah.
Where you're just bashing and everything. There were some rideable creatures featured in there. Just looked really, really cool. And the way they opened that trailer with just like his silhouette and everybody's like, oh yeah, it kind of makes you miss the live versions of these shows where you can like hear the
Yeah.
because you know it was happening right at that moment. So Donkey Kong Bonanza looks so, so cool. I cannot wait for that one.
Yeah. That's a good way to close it out. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
that was kind of how you end it. And then they were like, oh, the website for more information. Or no, they announced the release date at the end, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
ended with but no price. Again, we
Yeah.
mentioned that. So that was interesting. So that's everything we saw. I think everything looks great. There's a lot to be excited about. What didn't you see? What were you hoping to see that wasn't shown?
Oh,
I know you weren't ready for that.
no. I I don't know, nothing really. I guess really I was just excited for the new system. I didn't go in with any expectations other than an upgraded Switch. It was really what I was there to see. I guess I would have loved to see like a new Zelda game, kind of like I would have loved to see like Twilight Princess remade.
Ooh, and a
Yeah.
lot of people have asked for that. And
Yeah, I
maybe
would have
we
loved to
still
see
will.
that. Yeah. Or Wind Waker again. Give it to me again. Like,
Give it to me some more.
yeah, I'll take it again and again and again and again on every Nintendo system.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting is that this thing is launching, and I meant to do the research on this because I don't think there's been a Nintendo core like home console launch without a core Mario game. I know we're getting Mario Kart, but that's not a core Mario game. You know, we got
That's
Mario
interesting.
Odyssey, Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Brothers Wii. I mean, you can go all the way back. There's always been a core Mario game come out at launch, and not in this one. There's not. I really wanted Mario Galaxy 3, and I think we had talked.
Oh, we did talk about that. That would have been incredible. Those are
You
my
know, there's
favorite
going to
Mario
be
games.
yeah, and you know, there's going to be another Mario game. I just don't want it to
Yeah.
be a side scroll. I want a 3D. I want either Odyssey 2 or Mario 3 or Galaxy 3. Excuse me.
Galaxy 3.
I think I
Love
remember
Mario
Galaxy
Galaxy.
3. So I felt it was interesting that they went with Mario Kart instead of a core Mario game. But
Yeah.
I bet it's in development somewhere, you know. So maybe we will see Mario Galaxy 3 at some point. I know that's on a lot of wish lists. I saw it online quite a bit. So as far as what we didn't see, that was really the only thing that stood out to me. I also thought there'd be some kind of new, not peripheral, but I felt like the Joy-Cons would work different or something. Oh, they do. The Joy-Cons do have bigger like shoulder buttons. I know.
Yeah.
And I
As
think
long
you
as they
got,
don't freaking drift. God, God.
yeah, yeah.
Mine were so bad.
I think they did say more durable joystick technology or something in there.
Yeah.
But the bigger buttons on the top shoulder buttons,
Yeah.
they definitely showed off. And you guys have probably experienced that. I know you guys used to play a lot of like local Mario Party and stuff where you probably had to use a bunch of Joy-Cons and the buttons are
Yeah.
so tiny on it.
Yes.
So good to
Yeah.
see that. So that's kind of our wrap up of the new Nintendo Switch 2. Sound off. Let us know if you're going to be getting it, what you think about the prices of both the games and the hardware and kind of what it means. I'm anxious to see more. I know they're doing another direct. I know I mentioned more details on April 4th for something there, but I think there's another direct like April, not too far out, like April 27th or something. I think
Oh,
there's for more details or deeper dive into some of the games. So I'm anxious to see that, but kind of just want to see how the world unfolds before June 5th and see like where the price holds, how available they're going to be, what Nintendo's marketing strategy is to get them into people's homes. Because right now there's a lot of doubt surrounding that. So let us know how
yeah.
you feel about all that. And hopefully we'll have more news on it soon. Can we say goodbye to Laszlo? Where'd he go? He's gone.
Uh,
He took
he's
off.
gone. He
That's
left
fine.
me. Mm.
All right. I'm Micah. We will see you next time. Alyssa,
Goodbye.
goodbye.